Sunday, everybody. We are here at Disneyland, and we are starting the day off today with a photo with the fire truck, because you can do that at certain times. Just not right now. And you can't drive it. You only get to pretend. So we're gonna get a picture, and it's gonna be fun. And then who knows what else we're gonna do. It's gonna be a great day, right, Katie? Yeah, obviously.
Photo taking. It's a very intricate process. Yes, be careful not to spill the coffee. Oh no, I think I can't spill the coffee. We can zoom in everywhere.
And we've made our way into Disney California Adventure now, because we are going to do a wine tasting seminar today. We'll probably give you moments of that as we go through it. But we've hit it really lucky the last few weeks. Every time we walk in, Five and Dime has been playing.
And it's like little old me. Oh, you learn to be just like you. Oh, somebody take it. All right, dude.
We're at Sonoma Terrace, and we are going to be tasting Skywalker wine today. And this is our wine tasting group. We've got Katie, Angela, and Murray, who's looking at his bag. And the wines are up there in front. And we'll probably show you some highlights of us tasting. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do, because this is about 45 minutes long, and I don't actually know what we're drinking, so
Wine.
we are drinking wine, thank you, Murray. And it's hosted by Corksicle, but we don't have Corksicle glasses, so we'll see how this goes. I'm looking forward to it, and we will for sure afterwards tell you our thoughts of the whole process.
Food and Wine Festival. And now, please welcome your host.
Hey, hey! Look at all these excited faces. We're so happy to have you here. Welcome to the 2022 Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival. My name is Sunny, and it is my pleasure to be hosting you here at the stunning Sonoma Terrace. We're so excited to have you with us for this wine education and tasting seminar treats, including Skywalker Vineyards, Chateau Margaux in Provence, France, and Viandante del Cielo in Umbria, Italy. All three estates offer private accommodations, world-class food and wine, and bespoke hospitality in the Skywalker style. So please give a warm round of applause for Tom Johnson.
All right, hello everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's great to see you and see some of you again. I've been here this weekend hosting some amazing events, and I see some familiar faces, so thanks for coming back. The wine's the same though, so we'll just get to try it again. As Sunny was saying, my name's Tom. I've been with the ranch for 8 years now, and it's an absolute honor and pleasure to be doing what I'm doing. I love my job. I have the best job ever. And we get to try wines and do things kind of all around the world. Today we are going to focus on Skywalker Vineyards wines. We have 3 different wineries within our portfolio, but my favorite and the ones that are closest to my heart are the 3 that I have in front of us here today. So when working with Disney, I had this scheduled 2 years ago to come here, and a few things happened in the world and we didn't get to do it. So we brought out our reserve wine for you today to try these. Some of you haven't tried these at all, and some of you that are our fans and have tried our wines haven't tried these wines because we just released them and we're really packing up the boxes and sending them down to Disney right before I got here. So some of these are brand new releases that you'll be the first to try. We are a winery, very, very small, right at Skywalker Ranch. People ask me that all the time. I even have people ask, how is George Lucas allowing you to sell these wines? It's George's winery. So that's how. And we work very, very closely with Disney. We are obviously huge fans of what we do here. We say that George, in the sale to Disney in 2012, George sold all the intellectual property, but kept all the physical property. So on the physical property then are these amazing wines. We also have gardens. We also have Wagyu beef on the property. We have over 150 head of beef. We make olive oil and honey and all things that really tie into kind of this wine lifestyle. With that, with the success of what we've been doing here, we then purchased a winery in France. So we have a property over in Provence, Chateau Margouis, and we're about ready to open up our hospitality area there, probably May or June. And then after that, during COVID, we were able to create, bottle, and send over wines from our Italian property in Umbria, Chateau or Viandante del Cielo, right in Umbria. And so we have 3 wines from that area as well. What was interesting to George and what is interesting to these wines are each area is completely different, really, really unique, and special to its region. Provence and the French wines taste like French wines. The Italian wines are specific to the region and taste like interesting Italian wines. And these wines here are unique and different to Marin County. Who has tried our Skywalker wines before? I know there's a couple people in the back. All right, so this is a new crowd to this brand, so I'm excited to pour these for you. Who drinks wine once a week? Once a day? Before noon? Okay, all right, so there's a few of you. But you may not have tried these wines. So today we're going to go through 3 different wines. Rosé, which is going to be one from our last vintage, 2021. It's a wine that we harvest in September, October, turn it into wine, get it in the bottle, and get it out to the people, and that's what we're doing with this. You guys are the first to try that. Then we do our Chardonnay, which is going to be very much unique to Marin County, where it sits in oak for a little bit of time, and then we're going to end with our flagship wine, the Skywalker Pinot Noir, which again is, everyone was asking me which one's your favorite, and as the marketing guy, I say all of them, but really this Pinot is my favorite. It's a really, really great bottle of wine, and I don't always get it to Disney. I don't make enough to get it to all the different channels that we want to sell it in, but we do have it here today. So with that, I don't want to keep talking. I do want to start wine presentations with a cheers. So please join, grab your first glass of the rosé, raise it up, cheers your person you came with or the person you don't know across the table. Welcome, great to see you all. Cheers.
People I don't know.
With this first sip, don't think about it. Let it pass through, forget about it, get the churro out of your mouth, get the empanada, I think over there, out of your mouth, because that's not what we want it to taste like. We really want it to then take that second sip, so take that second sip now, and really let it just sit on your palate, on your tongue, and just kind of think about it for a little bit, and tell us what you think there. This rosé is a wine that there is 0 sugar in it. We ferment all the sugar out of it. It's not a white sin. A lot of guys think, don't drink rosés. Well, you haven't had good rosé. Have a wine. This is a wine that just kind of sits there. It's kind of got that lemonade acid thing going on the side of your mouth, and it really kind of begs for the second sip. This is done in the California style. It is very much a darker rosé than what we see in France, and that's purposeful. In California, we like a little bit more of the pigment coming through the skins. Pinot Noir is a red grape that you then just take the skins away, and underneath the red skins are kind of a white fleshy grape, kind of like a Thompson seedless when you bite into it. It may be a red grape, but inside it's kind of pink or fleshy. Same with Pinot. So all you do is you just crush the fruit, let it sit in the skins just like a tea bag would, kind of work in some boiled water. So basically the skin color starts to go into the wine, and then after a certain amount of time, sometimes 8 hours, sometimes 24 hours, you then pull the skins out, and then you have this really bright, clean, fresh wine. This is a 2021. I was saying we just bottled it. We do have a small club where our club members have gone online to purchase our wines, and we send them a selection before anybody else gets it. But we're releasing it in May, and we have it here for you today. So you guys are the first to try it, and yesterday's group. So it's a really, really great bottle of wine. It retails for $30 online, and then we do sell it at a couple different areas here at Disney, and I'll go over a couple of those later on. But just a really nice, bright wine. It's a great wine right after dinner. I'm sorry, right after work. Come home, have a cold out of the fridge. It's a great brunch wine. And while you're sitting on the shores of Saint-Tropez, it's also a good wine for that. So it's very much a California style, but done in the French version as well. So questions about the rosé? I'm gonna have time for questions at the end as well. But if I'm talking too fast, or I'm not making sense, or I'm getting too wine geeky, raise your hand, stop me, and we'll go into that as well. All right. The second wine here is our Skywalker Chardonnay, and there's a little bit of a story that goes with this wine here. Skywalker Ranch was purchased in 1978 after the release of Star Wars. He made a little bit of money and bought this 6,000-acre ranch in the heart of Marin County to create a Skywalker filmmakers retreat for the film industry to kind of come up and have this private, confidential, beautiful, creative space for people to come in and make movies. It's focused on post-production, and what that means is if you kind of break the movie industry up into 3 phases. The first phase is you write your movie, you get your concepts, you get your funding, and the second phase is you go out and you film, you go out on location, you get all your filming in, and then the third phase is you bring back all that content, you roll it all together, you add your effects, you add your music, and kind of roll the movie out at that point. So Skywalker Ranch was built to be a post-production facility with the build-out of Skywalker Sound. Skywalker Sound is on the property and still operates today. It is now, with the sale to Disney, it is run by Disney and Lucasfilm, but George owns the building and basically gets a rent check every month. So we work with them every day. They come to the ranch to finish these movies. All the Pixar movies, all the Marvel movies, and of course all the Star Wars movies have been worked on and finished in the space. In that space, there is this amazing theater called the Stag Theater that is one of the finest theaters in the world. And so if you as a director come and finish a movie here, you then know that your movie's going to sound great in any theater wherever you happen to release it. So where I'm going with this very long-winded story is on the back of our reserve labels is this building, and it's the Sky Sound building. And George built it in order to look like an old winery that he would have put out on the hillsides of Napa or Sonoma. And so with that is the tech building. So it is still working today, but George planted vineyard in front of it for landscaping, really, to make it look like a winery. And so with that, after about 4 years, the employees went out and picked the grapes. That's about how long it takes for a vine from when it's planted to be able to showcase or grow fruit. And so the employees picked the grapes, didn't know what to do with them. George calls his friend Francis Ford Coppola, who has a winery over in Rutherford. He said, send them to my winemaker Scott, and he'll do something with them. He then made a really great Chardonnay out of it that we use for events and parties and special things like that. And every year it kept getting better and better and better. And we then planted more vineyard, Pinot Noir, and put that up on the hill, and that was getting better and better. And we were still sending our grapes over to Scott over at Skywalker. And don't quote me on this, but the rumor is as soon as our wines were getting better than the Coppola wines, Francis kicks us out of his winery and says, go build your own winery. So George did. And so since 2014 on, we've been doing everything on the estate, bottled and produced at Skywalker Ranch. Scott McLeod, that winemaker, has been named the top winemaker in the world through the Wine Enthusiast, and did this as a side fun project and got to build his dream winery for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay only. And we all benefit from that. So 2014, everything's been bottled and produced on Skywalker Ranch, and the wines have just been getting better and better and better. And so with that, the front vineyard in front of Sky Sound is where the fruit comes from for this wine. Sometimes I get 200 cases, sometimes I get 400 cases, but it's very, very small and very, very hard to make money in the wine business at 400 cases. So this is a very unique and special wine that we get. I sell out of it pretty quickly. Normally our club members get most of it, and I'm also blending some new wines with our sparkling wine with that Chardonnay too. So it's planted more vineyard, but it's not quite ready yet for production to go into that, but a really great wine. So with that, grab a glass and try it. This is a wine that, if you like Chardonnay, it's really different and unique. So on the front part, you get kind of those appley acids. It's not one of those big, buttery, over-the-top Chardonnays. Rombauer is one of the top Chardonnays in the world, and is that big, buttery, Chardonnay. we feel that once you get a little bit too much butter, you start losing the nuances of the wine. So we stop the fermentation process halfway through, and so the alkali acids that change to buttery acids really kind of stop and get almost more like tropical notes, kind of limey. You get kind of some lime acid there, and we like that. We like it goes from apple to lime to oak. We do put it in French oak, some of the finest oak barrels that you can find. Let it sit in there for a while to give it a little bit of that viscosity, and we feel it's kind of like coconutty. It gives it a coconut flavor. So instead of this theater popcorn buttery Chardonnay, we feel we have this tropical, really unique Chardonnay that really kind of sets us apart. So that's something that we're really proud of. Again, once we release it, it sells out pretty quickly. I think it may be on a few of the wine lists around here, maybe over at Carthay, but very, very small in production. Also, while we have it here, I do want to talk about the front of the label. We have 5 different labels within our brand, including the 2 French labels, the Italian labels, and the 2 different style of labels for Skywalker. But the Reserve line will always have this winged icon on the front. And as the wines were getting better, working with George directly, we asked him what he wanted the label, bottle, the cap, everything to be like. And obviously the Sky Sound on the back of it was important to him. But as the wines were getting to the level that he wanted, we asked him what he wanted on the front label. And he said, I've been saving this for something really special. Let's put on the wine. So when he was writing 4, 5, and 6 in the early 70s, you all may have known, if you're true fanboy, fangirls, that the good that was going to defeat the evil was going to be a woman at one point. It was going to be an alien at one point. And then it kind of snapped for him when he saw the statue on a friend's desk of a statue of this winged boy, not quite a man, very young in his face, and he had wings, a walking stick, and bare feet. And it kind of clicked for him that the wanderer of the sky that was going to come in and save the universe was the Luke Skywalker. And so didn't really talk about it. We don't tell the story on our website. I'm not selling Skywalker, Luke Skywalker wines. I don't want it to be about that. I want it to be about the quality in the bottle. But the label itself is a really unique, fun label. That is the original inspiration for Luke. We do have a beautiful 8-foot tall statue in front of the winery that Lawrence Noble, one of our artists, have done for us. We have paintings in the winery where the statue or the icon looks a little bit different. George wants the artist to really come up with their interpretation and allows them to really kind of, paint the statue or paint the painting or build the statue the way that they see it in their mind as well. So we have multiple different versions of what he looks like, but the label, the statue, and the paintings are all a little bit different. And George wants the artists to kind of come up with their interpretation. So it's really, really special for that. The French wine is Chateau Margrit. We make a Vin Rouge, a Vin Blanc, and a Rosé for basically an everyday typical wine that you find in France and Italy. And then we also make a Reserve, Vin Blanc, Vin Rouge, and Rosé, that all 3 of those, including the Margrit everyday wines, have the angel incorporated somewhere on that label. And then our 3 Italian wines, we make a Chardonnay, we make a Pristinium, which is a Roman blend, and then we make a big Cabernet from that as well. And then in the bottle, pressed in the glass, is the winged icon too. So that's the common thread that goes through our 3 different brands there. So if you see that winged icon, it's coming from that. So we're real proud of how those turned out and what those are like. So with that, let's go into the 3rd wine. This is our Skywalker Pinot Noir. Do aerate it a little bit, swirl it around, open it up. Make sure there's nothing floating in it. Someone brought their Mickey covers. Those are pretty awesome. I don't travel with those. I think I can figure out what I'm getting those. Those are great. But take the first sip and really kind of let it sit on your palate there. This is something that's really unique and different to the wine business in general, specifically in Marin County, but then for what our wine is here. So who drinks a Pinot Noir versus Cabernet versus there's one guy in the back. Pinot Noir is a wine that it's always been a favorite of mine. I kind of grew up drinking it. My family's been in the wine business, and we always made a really nice Pinot. It kind of was the ugly stepchild in the wine world for red wines. I was in the wine business when we were ripping out Cabernet vineyards and planting Merlot vineyards because Merlot was the #1 selling wine and they couldn't make enough of it. And then this movie came out, and overnight, people don't drink Merlot anymore. I only drink Pinot Noir because of Sideways. So because of that, every winemaker switched, making their wines from Cabernet to Pinot. They didn't know how to make Pinot Noir, so there's some really crappy Pinot Noir out there. But if you know how to make really Burgundian style, old world Pinot Noir, in which the grapes were meant to be made, you can find some really nice California Pinot Noirs out there. Marin County is, who's been to Marin County before? So a few. As you drive across the Golden Gate Bridge, you actually go into Marin County. There's a county line on the Golden Gate Bridge that gets you into Marin. So you drive over through San Francisco, over the bridge, and you're in Marin County. There's this amazing area on the left as you drive off the bridge of the Marin Headlands, which are rocky and cold. The fog rolls in, and it's really, there's great trails and hikes out there. But then you go about 20 minutes past the bridge, and you get to Lucas Valley Road. And you turn left off of the freeway, and you drive up about 15 minutes up into the hills to get to Marin County, and you come to Skywalker Ranch. There's not a sign. There are 2 gates, and there'll be times when I'm driving out just to get home, and there's guys in Jedi costumes and lightsabers taking their pictures in front of the gate. It's kind of like the sitcom that was kind of spoofing it, but no police department. But it's a colder climate area versus Napa and Sonoma. Napa and Sonoma is just 30 minutes going north from Marin County. The temperatures are 100 degrees in Napa during the summertime and about 65 degrees in Marin County. So a big fluctuation in the temperature. And so the Pinot Noir that is coming from Sonoma and coming from Napa get ripe about a month and a half to 2 months sooner than Marin County. There are times when we've lost all the vintage because the rain came before the grapes were ripe enough. And so it's very risky and expensive to grow in Marin County. But if you're able to have your wines or your grapes be out on the vine a little bit longer, get a little bit more mature, the skins and the ripeness are at the same level. The seed is actually brown because it's mature and not green like you find in Napa or Sonoma. You could create a really unique, interesting European style Pinot Noir. So Pinot Noir, there's the California style is going to be a little bit more brighter, a little bit more kind of raspberry fruits, a little bit more cranberry, and then if it's old world style, it's going to be a little bit more kind of those darker fruits. If you think you go from cranberry acid to blackberry or cassis, that's where you're going with that. But then the thing that I really love about this wine is that because it stays out in the vineyard a little bit longer and it gets mature, it does really kind of get this terroir driven thing, and terroir gets really wine geeky. I don't really kind of want to go into it. It's the environment coming in with the temperature, coming in with the soil, coming in with the organisms, coming in with everything to create what this is. And in the wine world, the French version doesn't translate to the American version, but if you think of it like the Force, it's like the Force. What is the Force in this wine? It's all the things of Skywalker Ranch coming together to create this bottle of wine. So it is the deep roots that are going into the Skywalker soil. Nothing's ever been grown on this property. It is all virgin land until we planted vines in there for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Up on the hill, you get the coastal fog that comes in that lets the grapes really mature nice and slowly to create this really great bottle of wine that every year it will taste a little bit different of what the environment kind of builds in there. In France, when you hear, is it a good year or a bad year, they let the environment build that wine. In the United States, if we want the wine to taste the same year over year over year, we can. If we want the Big Mac to taste the same in the United States as it does in Japan, we can do that. That same type of thing. There's some really great wines that you will taste, and it's the same Cabernet every single year. We really want the environment to tell us what 2017, 2018, and 2019 tastes like. So you're going to have a wine that is very, very food friendly. It's great with duck and risotto and salmon and pork. And that's very much the California style Pinot Noir. And it's good with those foods, but we build it and let it sit on the skins a little bit longer, let it sit in the oak barrels a little bit longer, so it also holds up to some red meat. I mentioned earlier that we have Wagyu beef on the property. We have over 150 head that kind of wander the property. George had a burger one day and loved it, so we bought 4 animals, and now we're up to 150. And when I'm not here hanging out at Disney, drinking wine with you, I'm also selling Wagyu beef, which is weird. But we do have this amazing Wagyu product that we do use on our property. We have a little employee restaurant that people will go to and have Skywalker burgers. And then with my club memberships, we do invite our club members to the ranch, and we do this really gala dinner with these amazing Skywalker Wagyu dinners with this Pinot Noir, and there's nothing better in the world. It's pretty phenomenal. So we do want a red wine that will hold up to some red meat. Cabernet will always hold up to some red meat. Merlot will hold up to big red meat, but Pinot Noir is rare that it will, and we really build it so it does last a long, long time. We are new to the wine world comparatively. Marin County only has 17 wineries, whereas Napa and Sonoma have over 300 in each county, and we're literally just 30 minutes from each county. And so aging wine in Marin is new. No one really knows how long this Pinot Noir will last. I've been having Pinots from Skywalker for, I had some 2008s and 9s just recently that are beautiful. And if it was a California style Pinot, those would be vinegar by now. So it is a wine that we do want to lay down to see how it matures and ages, very much like those French Burgundies that I was saying that we're building this off of. And so we do ask that don't just drink it tomorrow. Let it lay down a little bit. Also, we do hold them back. This is a 17. This is a brand new vintage. We just put it on the website about a week ago. Our club members got it a few years previous to let them age it. They promise that they'll age it a little bit before they drink it, but it is drinkable now. A lot of our wines that we do sell go to some of our favorite restaurants that don't age them. They put on the wine list and sell them tonight. So we do want them to be drinkable when we do sell them that way too. So we will hold them at Skywalker and release them when we feel that they're drinkable, but we do want you to lay them down to see what that will do too. So those cranberry acids are there on the palate. They then last and kind of sit there for a while and do a really good job. We make an everyday California style Pinot as well called Somita, which we sell here at some of the different spots. But that's going to be more of that California style I was talking about. And then we make this reserve bottle here. This retails for $70 US, and then on restaurants it's anywhere from $100 to $150 there. We do have a small website. I've talked about that a little bit. We don't have enough wines to kind of keep it up and running all the time. Wines will sell out pretty quickly. This rosé, once we release it in May, probably won't last through July or August. I do set aside a certain amount of wines for Disney when they were on their certain wine lists, but they do sell out pretty quickly. The Chardonnay sells out as soon as we release it to our club, and then the Pinot Noir, basically just I'll focus it on events and we'll sell it out at those events there. We do sell and set aside a certain amount just for Disney. We sell some here, we sell some at Disney World, and then we sell some at the cruise line. The cruise line, if you've been on the Disney cruise, our wines are on that as well, and the team does an amazing job kind of telling the story for us about what Skywalker is and why this wine is extra special. So if you happen to be going on the cruise anytime soon, take a look on that and see what we're doing with that there. The club membership is something that we do have a small allocation list membership that is sold out. There's a wait list for people to get on that. These are been fans of ours that have been buying our wines for a while, where they get kind of the first round of wines that we have available. During COVID, since we then got our Italian and our French wines sent over, and I have a few more wines to work with, we launched a new wine club that is on the website that you can go take a look at, where we'll send you 4 bottles of wine 3 times a year, so you get a case of wine throughout the year, and you'll get kind of the next round of allocation for that. We don't really do events and we don't really do tastings. It's a private space at Skywalker Ranch, but for our club members, they can make an appointment and come to a private tasting with up to 6 people for a discounted tasting fee to come in and try some of the wines. So a lot of the questions I get is, how do you get on the ranch? Besides working from there, you really can't, except for now this club. And so we can line that up for some tastings too. And then we have just started doing some special events just for wine club members, where we're going to invite them to the ranch for a rosé release party or a tasting of something that we've just released. So that's something that we're doing there too. And I'm born and raised in the industry, and wineries are surrounding me, and I don't even get up early on a Saturday to go wine tasting. But we do have fans that will travel from across the United States to come see us at a tasting or a special event. So we're excited about that. Before I finish up on what we're talking about here, people ask me kind of, how can I support the ranch and everything on just 1,500 cases, or now 6,000 cases with Italy and France. And one of the things that we have done, which makes us really unique and different, and really kind of special in how we do things, is we have these great wines. Again, I don't make enough to keep Disneyland happy on the weekend, to be honest. We don't make that much for what big clients would want from us. But what we did was we took our property that was Skywalker Ranch, that George had Lucasfilm working out of, and I was brought on to kind of reimagine what we can do at Skywalker. And so we, about 2018, right before COVID, we launched the Skywalker Retreats. And Skywalker Retreats is taking the property that we have, the headquarters for Lucasfilm, our property in Italy and our property in France, and having a private retreat center for like-minded businesses and organizations to come in, use the space in which George intended it. Lucasfilm headquarters is now Summit Skywalker Ranch. It's this beautiful Frank Lloyd Wright inspired building now with rooms and board meeting space and bar and game room and spa and theaters where groups will come in and rent out the whole space. You'll meet all day long, and then at 5 o'clock you break, go on a hike, go get spa treatments, and come together for a beautiful winemaker dinner with our Wagyu and our vegetables from the ranch, and create this really unique space. We have 56 guest suites in the space there, and my team, when they're not bottling or labeling, they are hosting you as our guests on the ranch. It's a one price for the whole thing. It's not a hotel. You don't just rent a room. You rent out the whole space, whether you're 6 people or 56, and the team will take care of you. With the success of that, George calls and says, great, I bought a place in France, let's do that there. He ships over all the wine, and we take this beautiful chateau from 1784 and reimagine that for a hospitality venue where you are in the middle of Provence. You live that lifestyle. The food is amazing French foods from the region, from the area. It's Skywalker service and hospitality in the French way. And you're in this private, secure location there. There's 18 rooms. It's not open yet. If I can get back there in the next couple of weeks, we'll finish it off by June and then have that launched in June. We've been making the wines there for years, and so I have been importing those wines, and so those are the wines I was talking about earlier. And then during COVID, we already had a home in Umbria, right off Lake Tresimeno. It's an old monastery from the 1500s that George converted to a home. And I have a husband and wife that run that for us, and we'll invite more kind of families and small business groups or private secure mergers and acquisitions or whatever, that people want to come over there and use that space. And it's Skywalker service and hospitality in the Italian way. Our chef is Giuseppe. He's learned from his grandmother from the region, and everything's coming from that space there. So George has created these 3 scenes around the world of what that lifestyle is. And we do have a small website, skywalkerretreats.com, that you can go in and just look through the windows to see what's going on there. It's pretty amazing. And the staff that we have here is not your typical hospitality hotel staff. They are true either executive and assistant style service, or basically home service. So if you come to my house, I'm going to know who you are, I'm going to know what you like, and we're going to create a great experience for you at those spaces there. So that's kind of what we are doing right now within Skywalker, to kind of see what Skywalker 2.0 is going to be, and it's all based around food and wine, and specifically about the Skywalker wines that we got to try here today. So with that, I have time for questions. Also, I'm going to be around for a little bit if you want to ask me a couple questions about that. We are not a discounted brand. We don't sell that much, but it's been a while since we've been out and about. So we did put in a little coupon code for anybody that wants to order any wines online and send them directly to your house. There's about 37 states. So how many people here from California? Yeah, that's good. If you're in certain states we can't ship to, I'm sorry. If you're from Utah, anyone? Anyone? Okay, good. We can't ship to Utah. But there are certain states that we can't ship to. But if you are interested in any of these wines, or you want to try some of our French or Italian wines, go online and check that out, skywalkervineyards.com. Everything's coming here from Skywalker Ranch. I'm importing the French Italian wines to the ranch and then shipping them out from there. If you put in the coupon code Mickey, somebody yesterday asked me how to spell that. Mickey. Then you'll get a 20% discount on any of the wines that you order to kind of test out some of these new wines. From there, there's a link to the club as well, as you can take a look at that if you're interested in. If you have any questions after any of this, or you're asking questions about what wine or why, there's an 800 number that you get either me or my assistant or somebody else that's walking by the phone as it rings, where it's just a small, basically a mom and pop, a really cool mom and pop that let us kind of work there. So it's meant to be small and boutique and approachable, and not snobby wine, all that. We want it to be a humble brand with some really kick-ass wines. So that's what we're doing now. We have a question.
Which is the Chardonnay?
Chardonnay sells for 50. Yeah. We also make an unoaked Chardonnay called Samita, and it's a bottle that sells for 39, but it's very much more crisp and refreshing and appley, whereas this one's got a little bit more oak and butter. The rosé sells for 30. Yeah. And the Pinot sells for 70. We make the California style Pinot with Samita, which sells for 42. And I do say try them both, because the Samita is my Tuesday wine, the Sky is my Saturday wine. They're really different in different ways, and it depends on where you go. And I will say, any wine that you take from Skywalker to a party, we always buy wine to impress. You take it to a party, and it'll always be the first bottle that's empty, because it's really interesting and really unique, and people will want to try it. When I first tried it, I was like, how good can it be? And I tried it, and I was wildly impressed at how good it was before I worked for the company. And I love that it's really unique and different. Any other questions for the group here? Yes.
Let me do my Phil Donahue.
Let me do my Phil Donahue here just a minute.
What years of the Samita and the Sky do you think are drinking best right now for the Pinot?
Very good question. So we just released the 17 of the Sky Pinot, and I'm loving the 14 and 15. And there are some of those. We put a small library aside online too. The 14 is great. The 12 was phenomenal as well, but it's almost sold out if it's even on there anymore. The 17 is showing really well. I'm excited about that. The Samita, I would go into the 15 and the 16. It's a little bit lighter in style, but there's some really great fresh kind of that cranberry flavors that you like. But then it also is starting to get a little bit of age, where the acid and the alcohol, the tannins are kind of coming into a nice balance right now. And then whatever you do, try the wine first and then have some food with it. And it's just absolutely stunning and phenomenal. So, thank you. Anyone else?
Any questions in previous years about the museum that's being...
Great question. Good to see you again, by the way. I didn't see you without the hat there. Now I see. So that's a great question. So one of the things that you may or may not know of, especially you guys being LA people, you may know more than I. George is right now currently building the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. It is right now, and I don't talk about the numbers, but it's over a $2 billion gift to the community that George is giving. It's going to be the USC campus, and it's going to be a collection of narrative art that George has been collecting, as well as art that he's going to bring in that tells a story. So he doesn't collect modern art. He doesn't like white canvas with a black square on it. That's not his style. He will collect Norman Rockwell's and NCYS and Maxfield Parrish pieces, and he has over 150 pieces of Norman Rockwell alone. And he's going to create a museum that is absolutely stunning, right at the USC campus, next to the soccer field. There's a great little community of museums in that area as well. And it's going to be a space that is going to help people understand the importance of what narrative art is. And narrative art is art that tells a story. When you look at it, it's a true scene in one painting of what is going on in that life. And Rockwell is a great example of that. Cave paintings are an example of that, and the paintings on the sides of pottery from Greece are an example of that. And so he's been collecting pieces that are going to help us tell a story from the original cave painting to a movie of today. And it's getting, I've seen the behind the scenes stuff. I've seen how hard they're working on building this building. The building isn't a building, it is a work of art itself. It's this undulating building that no one has ever built before here in the US. And so add COVID and embargoes on steel and everything else into the mix of it. We're a little bit slower than we want to be, but we're building this really great museum that should be opened up in about 2 years, if not a year and a half. But it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. It was going to be in San Francisco at one point. It was going to be over in Chicago at one point, and then the board of directors chose LA because in the area that it is in, it's going to be able to help over 300 low-income schools use the space to learn about photography and film and art and different things. And they're already building a staff and a team right now that is actually going out into the community and teaching kids how to shoot a photo, how to edit a movie, and do certain things within the community. And that's a huge passion project for both George and his wife Melody Hobson. And so we're very, very excited about it. I'm a little bit more excited than others because there's going to be a beautiful fine dining restaurant on top. White tablecloth that we're working with some amazing partners that I can't announce yet that are going to be helping us with that, as well as the cafe will have our wines. And then I just did a tasting with our executive director. She's phenomenal. She's going to do great, great things. And she's now a huge fan of what we do here. And so where do we put the wine shop? I'm like, I like how you think. So we're going to have some of our wines available there, but we're very, very excited. This is George's legacy project. He wants to build up while he's alive. We want to build up while he's alive. He's healthier than I am, so we don't have to worry about anything, but it's going to be this amazing thing. And the reason, just like he did with movies, he's going to change why and how we go to museums with what he's going to build. It's going to be pretty phenomenal. I'm happy for, but jealous that Los Angeles area gets it. So I'll be traveling a lot more, but for good reasons. So great question, thank you. I forget to mention that every now and then, so I get kind of wine focused, but great question for that. Anyone else?
I was just wondering if you could give us perhaps an preview of what the sparkling wine is going to look like and what's the breakdown of that.
It's almost like I planted these questions in the audience, but I did not. So, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay are great for sparkling wines. That's how you make a Blanc de Noir. You blend 2 Pinot Noirs and Chardonnays. Usually they don't get as ripe. You don't want them as ripe as you do a still wine. You want them at 17 degrees Brix versus 23. So if you don't have the right weather, you're going to need to pick your grapes sooner, and then what do you do with it? Well, you can make some really great sparkling wine. So our winemaker is a winemaker by the name of Keith Hock, H-O-C-K, and I was selling grapes to him when I first started at Schramsberg. He was the winemaker at Schramsberg Vineyards over in St. Helena and Calistoga area. It's one of my favorite sparkling houses in the world. They do amazing, amazing wines. And since we were selling grapes to him, we set a private meeting aside, and I since hired him, and he is our still winemaker and sparkling winemaker for Skywalker. So 2 of the wines that I didn't bring out are Skywalker Sparkling Wine 2014 vintage, which is our first vintage ever released, and it is available online. It sells for $150 US. I made 300 cases of that. And then we made Samita Pinot Noir Sparkling, which then sells for $100 US. And the packaging, no matter what, is the best packaging you're going to find on any sparkling wine right now. George worked with me on that and created this amazing package. The wines are phenomenal. Marin County, if I do my job right, will be known for sparkling wines because the level of wines that we're going to make with that. It's something that sells out pretty quickly once we get them, and they're really, really phenomenal. They compete with Dom and Cristal easily, and our winemaker is a humble, shy guy. He never says anything over the top like that. When he says that, I run with it because I love it already. He wants to keep the Skywalker sparkling a little bit longer. Before I released it, we arm wrestled, and he gave me a year, and I got a year from him. So it's released now, and it's only getting better and better and better. So that is absolutely a special occasion wine that you should try sometime for sure. I don't think we'll have it, at the Alfresco dining or anything upstairs at this point, but really, really beautiful wines. So if you like the sparkling, be sure to try it. Thank you. All right, well, I'm gonna hang, here we go.
I was curious, on the vineyard that's in Italy, how old are the vines that they produce the wine from?
That's a great question. So the property has had people living on it since 1564. It's an old Capuchin monk monastery. St. Francis was not alive during the monastery era, but he did wander the area and actually did hermitage out on one of the islands right in front of the lake. The lake is the area of, if you're a history buff, is the area of the Battle of Pristinium, where Hannibal came down and fought the Romans and won this battle that he shouldn't have won by kind of running the Romans into the swamp area of Pristinium before even St. Francis was running around. But the property has had fruits and vegetables and olive trees on the property all these years, but the vines were ripped out because they weren't producing way before we got there. So we do have olive trees on the property that are 900 years old, 1200 years old, but then we planted new vines on the property about 6 years ago. So they're all fairly new. We worked with the winemaker Maurizio Castelli, who is the gentleman who's kind of the top winemaker in the area. He kind of brought the Super Tuscan wine brand kind of into fruition in Italy. And so then we are right across the county line, basically, from Tuscany. And he planted Cabernet, Chardonnay, but then he's planted ancient varietals that you can't find anymore because he wanted to, and no winery is allowed him to do so. And he's been growing these ancient varietals in his greenhouse for years. So he asked us, we said sure. And so we create a wine called Pristinium, which is this Roman blend that the Romans would have just done a field blend for. Whatever grows goes into the blend and makes this wine. And so the 2018 vintage was the first vintage that we have. It is the wine that is available online right now. And it's this wine that is, the main varietal is an old varietal called Chili Jolo, which again, you can't go to Italy and just go buy a bottle. It's really tough to find. But we have this Chili Jolo blend that's almost like a Cab Franc Merlot Malbec blend. Really bright taste. Chili Jolo means cherry in Italian. So it's this kind of fruit forward, really beautiful, zero sugar, but just this beautiful wine that does phenomenal. It's a staff favorite right now. So do try that one as well. But these are new vines on the property, but the property itself has some amazing forests around us, and this olive grove. It's stunning. Like, we don't get very many olives from a 1,200-year-old tree, but we get some, and it's absolutely stunning. So we import some of the olive oil here to the U.S. We have a Viandante olive oil from Italy. We have the Skywalker olive oil online from Skywalker Ranch, and then eventually I'm getting a French olive oil that I'll be able to bottle and produce and sell here too. No, it's going to be Chardonnay, Pinot, the Chili Jolo, some Brighetto that we're blending in with some of the Chardonnay, and some Sante Forte. Okay, we got wine geeky. Okay, all right. Thank you guys for your time. I think I'm going to get the hook here. I'll be around if you have any questions. It's been a true pleasure to see you guys. It's nice to meet us again. I really appreciate you guys coming out. Give a round of applause to the staff that put this together. It's really tough right now, and we made it feel like it's done seamless. So thank you guys for taking care of us here while we're here at the Disney too. So thank you all.
Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival is proud to present Fat Cat Swinger.
Hello, everybody. We're going to invite you to walk along the London sidewalks and jump into the magical top drops. So grab your umbrella and your magic carpet bag. We've got a jolly holiday for all you jolly folk. 1, 2, 3. Ain't it a glorious day? Right as I'm morning in May, I feel like I could fly. Have you ever seen the grass so green, or of the worst sky? It's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light. When the day is gray and ordinary, Mary makes the sunshine bright. Oh, happiness is blooming all around her. Then afternoons are smiling at the dawn. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. It's a jolly sweet lovers in the house today? Yeah? All right, so get ready for the chimney sweep work now, okay? Step in time, step in time, step in time, step in time. Never any reason, never any rhyme. Step in time, you step in time. Round the chimney, buddy. Kick your knees up, kick your knees up. Step in time, kick your knees up, kick your knees up, kick your knees up. Step in time. Round the chimney, step in time. Round the chimney, step in time. Never any reason, never any rhyme. Round the chimney, step in time. Flap like a birdie, step in time. Flap like a birdie, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Flap like a birdie, in time. Up on the railing. Up on the railing, step in time. Up on the railing, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Up on the railing, step in time. Over the rooftop, step in time. Over the rooftop, step in time. Over the rooftop, over the rooftop. Grab a partner, link your elbows, don't slow. Link your elbows, step in time. Link your elbows, step in time. Link your elbows, link your elbows, link your elbows. Step in time, step in time, step in time, step in time. No need a reason, no need a rhyme. Step in time, step in time. Now it's time to impress your friends for the longest made up word in English language. It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Because I was afraid to speak when I was just a lad. He probably gave me nose and tweak and told me I was bad. But then one day I learned the words would save the aching nose. The biggest word you ever heard, and this is how it goes. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. All around the world and everywhere you went, you use this word and always say there goes a clever chip. Dukes of Maharaja pass a toilet in me. I say a special word and then they ask me out to TV. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So much the cat and got your tongue and don't be for this thing. Just sum up this word and then you've got a lot to say. But better use a pen when you're ready to keep your way. One night I said it to me girl. And now my girl's me wife.
Blah, 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 blah.
Well, not editing that out. So, anyway, we have enjoyed both a wonderful wine seminar, I guess you could call it, and then also Fat Cat Swinger. But I want to flip back to the wine seminar, which you've just watched probably almost an hour worth. If you're still watching, good for you. What was the highlight for each and every one of you? Angela, you go first.
I really enjoyed tasting the wines themselves because I think they all had a lot of nuance to them that I really wasn't expecting.
Okay.
As you saw, we had the rosé that comes from the Pinot Noir grape, we had a Chardonnay, and we had a Pinot Noir itself. None of those are my absolute favorites, but I think they were all different and layered enough, complex, the flavors, that I thought, like, wow, this is really interesting, and I would definitely consider buying bottles of each, even though they were pretty expensive.
Out of
but
my
you could
price
tell,
range, yes.
Yeah, you could definitely tell why they're priced that way. It's, you know, like anything that's boutique or special, done in small batches, it really was worth the cost of going, not just for the product that you got, but for the explanation. Learning more about the Skywalker Vineyards, how they run their business, the fact they have multiple locations around the world was fascinating, and it just makes me want to find out more and see how I can try more and experience different areas.
And it was cool how into everything George Lucas is, because this guy clearly knew George Lucas personally, and he was a part of the process as opposed to being some executive far away, which I thought was really cool. Katie, what was your highlight of
I
this?
really liked the actual tasting and the actual notes, which there wasn't a ton of in the seminar, but because I know how to do coffee tasting pretty well, I guess.
Isn't it interesting how that transfers over?
Yeah.
Because I learned coffee tasting from a wine tasting I did at Coppola.
And I apparently learned wine tasting from coffee tasting.
Yeah, and I love that because like that was one of our connection points when I first met you, is I knew how to taste coffee because of how I knew how to taste wine.
And I was not 21.
And you fair, but it was interesting how these things transfer over of different places to taste in your tongue and your mouth, and I think that's really cool.
I also really liked when he was talking about growing in Marin County versus Napa Valley. I thought that was all super interesting, and picking the grapes at the right time.
Cool.
So that was fascinating. Yep.
Murray, favorite moment?
Actually, now it's hard to make out. I think we were talking earlier and I had one, but I like learning about the history of places. This had a rich history. And in all the wineries across the world. And so I think just hearing about all of them, and then also, you know, the history and connection to a company that we enjoy.
Yeah.
Other products. So.
And isn't it crazy to think that the person who brought us Star Wars brings this amazing wine? And I will admit, when we sat down and I saw the 3 wines we were drinking, I was like, none of these are in my top wines of flavors I enjoy. And I enjoyed all 3. And part of it was the flavors that we were told to taste and the butteriness and whatever, the Chardonnay. But on the flip side, the backstory behind each of these wines was really fascinating, and hearing even about the labels and the inspiration for Luke Skywalker was really cool. And hearing how, actually I feel bad because I don't remember the guy's name. Anybody remember his name? No.
Tom Johnson.
Sure, why not? Let's hope one of us got it. But it was really interesting hearing how connected he was to not just the wine, but also George Lucas. And I think that was something very special to these wines. And while I really like these wines individually, I feel like the personal connection sets them a step higher above than I would have thought anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a double connection. The fact that he sold his intellectual property but not the physical property.
Yeah, that was a really cool moment. Each of you, what was your favorite wine of the 3?
Chardonnay.
Rosé.
Rosé.
Rosé, and I like the Pinot Noir. So most of us had different favorites.
It shows
which was
they're
great.
all good. There's no wrong answer, I think.
I think that's totally right. And to me, as I was tasting them, I was like, the Pinot Noir is like, no contest. Like, and I'm not even a Pinot Noir guy. Like, I'm kind of like, if I have to. And I really appreciated, I liked all 3, but that one was the one that really jumped out. And it's really awesome that all of us had different flavors that we really liked. And I will say this experience makes me want to try other experiences that they have for these, what do you call it, wine seminars? Just because,
also beer seminars.
And beer seminars.
Cocktails.
And yeah, but just because you definitely learn something. I think if I were to critique this, I wish they'd had more of a flavor profile portion of this.
As a
pairing, Like there was a little bit in, was it the Pinot Noir that they talked about, he talked
about pairing. Chardonnay, he talked about the notes a little bit more.
A little bit, but not as much as I would have liked. And this isn't a critique, or a complaint, it's more of a critique. Like, I enjoyed it nonetheless, but I kind of wanted to be like, oh, this is how it would work in real life. And but overall, I was really impressed. Would you do this again?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna watch some more Phat Cat, maybe get some Carthay Alfresco. We'll see how this goes. It's a great night at Disney California Adventure, and we'll see what's next.
There are little baby ducks. They're very cute. My friends, don't touch the ducks. Thank you.
of the things we really enjoyed during the pandemic was the Carthay Alfresco dining experience, and we are going to experience it again. We'll see where our table ends up. It looks like it's a high top, but we really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun, and we're back.
And then there's a QR code.
We are at the Carthay Alfresco, is that all it's called? Dining. And we have the chicken here, which looks delicious. And it looks like it's with a rice and, I don't know, some other stuff. And then we've got, is this salmon over here?
It is, yeah. Salmon with soba noodles. Looks like there's some edamame, some cucumber. I'm excited.
And I think we've had this one, and that one's actually really good. Murray, what do you have?
Pasta.
Pasta with what?
Tomatoes?
Greens. And then Christina, what do you have?
I have the bao with the soy glazed pork.
All right, and we're going to tell you how they are after we've eaten them, because we don't want to eat on camera, and that's
I have
just
pasta.
Weird. Wait, what?
I have pasta.
Pasta. All right, we'll let you know how it is.
I'm like a bad boxer.
So it's been a fantastic day. We've seen Mr. Night. We're gonna hopefully see Moon Night now, and we got some good food at Carthay Circle Alfresco. And what time is it? He should be out in the next 4 or 5 minutes. We'll see about this. And it has been a marvelous night so far. And hopefully it continues to be marvelous. And of course we've seen Moon Knight, but you can't stop with just Moon Knight. You also have to see Spider-Man as we wander out on a beautiful night here at Disney California Adventure. It has been a blast. And it makes you really thankful for the days that you can just come into the parks on a Sunday at Disney California Adventure or Disneyland, which you didn't spend a whole lot of time for today, but we were trying to beat the fireworks so we don't have to wait as long to get on the bus for Toy Story. And we'll see how successful we are. But I will say everything we've done today has been top-notch. It's been a lot of fun. Wine tasting, Carthay Circle was a blast, and seeing Mr. Night / Moon Night was also incredible as we make our way out of the park on a lovely Sunday night at Disney California Adventure. It has been an absolutely lovely day at the Disneyland Resort. Katie, what was your favorite part of the day?
Probably Mr. Night. And also seeing our friend Fairy Tale Mindy.
That's right, which she wasn't on the video, but
no, but
she surprised you.
Scared us, and it was very fun.
Scared you.
Scared me, yeah.
I think I had just enough of a warning of like, hey, I know that person before she jumped up. That was really fun. Yeah, that was actually a wonderful. And I actually think, as you say that, that's one of the best parts of Disney is getting to see the people that you know and love when you visit the parks in random
small town feel.
Yeah, that's actually totally what it is. I really liked, I'm gonna actually go with the Skywalker wine seminar. I almost went with Carthay because that was a highlight definitely for us. That was so good. That chicken was amazing, and everybody else said they loved the what they got as well. We should comment though. Christina said that the bow outside lamplight was better. I don't know if they still have it, but that's just her observation. Our chicken was amazing. I would get it again.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah. But I would still say that the Skywalker seminar was really good, not just because of what we learned about the wine, but also what we learned about the organization and how they do things, and how small they are, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Like, I was really impressed with what a mom and pop shop it feels like.
Yeah.
And so that was a highlight for me. And also seeing Phat. Like, there's few things at Disney it's more personal and more fun than seeing Phat perform anywhere, really. Like, we've seen them both at the stage at Paradise Gardens, but we've also seen them now at Sweethearts Night, and that was a lot of fun as well. But I will say I prefer Paradise Gardens, just because we got more space to dance and jump around. But yeah, all the fun things. And seeing Mr. Knight and Moon Knight was really cool too. A little bit weird to see both of them
So
in
close together.
Yeah, exactly. But very cool. And then seeing Doctor Strange, like, this is what Avengers Campus really, I think, has been a hit with, is how they are able to pull these things together. Let's go over here. So quickly and really be connected with what's going on in the MCU / Disney Plus, and that's been a lot of fun. But we are almost to the car, so we're gonna say goodnight. We hope you've enjoyed this vlog. We hope you watched the entire wine seminar and enjoyed it as much as we did. And we look forward to seeing you in the parks. Oh, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See us on Geeks Corner Tuesday nights at 8:30. All that stuff. But we'll see you in the parks.